everyone! Today I'm here with my April book haul. Again, I have somehow managed to accumulate 11 books. So again, I'm not going to be talking about them in detail. I'm just going to briefly mention what I know about them because obviously I haven't read them, so I don't really know what they're about. So let's get started. The very first one I want to talk about is from Mr. B's Emporium subscription, which again I'll leave the link to the website down below, but basically I've explained it in the previous video. It is an independent bookshop in Bath. I've never been there personally myself, but I've heard of them through lockdown, well, when I was searching for things, and I would like to go there one day. But you fill up the questionnaire on the website and they send you a book a month according to your tastes. So this is my second one, and that is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I know everyone probably heard of that one. I was quite pleased when I have this one because it actually sounds good. I don't think I was interested in it before, but actually when I read the blurb, it sounds so amazing and I'm so excited to read this one. So this is the fantasy book. I don't really know how to describe it, so I'm just going to read you the blurb on the back. So, this is where the world ends for the last time. It starts with a great red rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land long familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon, and where there is no mercy. To me, that sounds so intriguing. I really can't wait to start this book one day. I know it's a series. I don't know how many books there are in the series, but it's the Broken Earth series. I'm super excited for this one. I don't know when I can get to it, but I would like to get to it as soon as I can, really. Still on the subscription vibe, let's go with A Box of Stories. They recently launched their sci-fi and fantasy box, which I was really excited about. Previously, I was subscribed to their historical fiction. But ever since they got that new one, I'm subscribed to that one, and now I'm supposed to be receiving books in that genre, those genres, once in 4 months, which I'm really excited for. So I've got the first full here. There are 3 fantasy novels and 1 sci-fi. Ideally, I would prefer if it was 2 sci-fi, 2 fantasy, but let's not talk about that. I did explain the idea of this box before, when they sort of pick up the books that otherwise would have been forgotten, so they're not maybe extremely popular, people might have not heard of them. They were published, some of them quite a few years ago, but they're still great books because they check the reviews and all of that stuff. So I'm really excited for these, especially the 3 of these, so let's get through them. So the first one we've got here is Night Terrors, a Shadow Watch novel by Tim Waggoner. All I know about this book that it is a fantasy book in which nightmares spill into the real world, and we follow one main character whose nightmare for the longest time has been a clown, I'm guessing, and they're trying to see where that's going or where they can help. So to me it sounds absolutely incredible. I'm excited to read this one, so we'll see when I get to it. Book number 2 again sounds so cool, and that is God Save the Queen by Kate Locke, I'm assuming. It's another fantasy novel, and this one is like a parallel universe, I'm assuming, in which the Queen Victoria never died. I think there has been a plague, and the result of that plague is the undeadness. So she's one of the undead. She's still ruling the country. There's also vampires, werewolves, and all that lot in this book. I'm so excited for this one. It sounds so cool to me. Absolutely cool. So yeah. The last fantasy book from this box is Ember and Ash by Pamela Freeman. I've never heard of this book either. Cursed by Blood, Damned with Fire. Again, I'm sorry, but I'll have to read you the back of the book because it's quite detailed, and I think if I try and explain it myself, the details are just going to go missing. So, 2 peoples have been fighting over the same land for 1,000 years. Invaders crushed the original inhabitants, and ancient powers have reluctantly given way to newer magics. But Ember was to change all this with a wedding to bind these warring people together until her future goes up in flames. Ember's husband-to-be is murdered by a vengeful elemental god who sees peace as a breach of faith. Set on retribution, she enlists the help of Ash, son of a seer. Together they will pit themselves against the elementals of fire and ice in a last attempt to end the conflicts that they have scarred their past. They must look to the present as old furies are waking to violence and are eager to reclaim their people. I think it sounds quite interesting. I'd like to read this one. It's more of a bigger side. I think it's actually under 500 pages. But still, I'm excited to get to this one whenever I can. The last books from A Box of Stories is sci-fi, and that is Red Noise by John P. Murphy. I feel like I might have heard of that one before, vaguely, but I'm not sure. This one is a really confusing one. Having read the blurb, I still don't really know what the book is about. As far as I understand, it's set in space. We follow one character who is planning to sell her cargo and go back to her quiet life, but she somehow gets swept up in the war that is going on. So it sounds interesting. I don't think I enjoy books set in space all that much, but I'm willing to give it a go because the space itself sounds really fascinating to me, so hopefully I'll enjoy this one. Last one of my subscription boxes is Bookfulness. So the book of this month was The Dinner Guest, and I'm subscribed to the mystery genre. This one is apparently a, what's it called, domestic thriller. It sounds really fascinating to me. This time, again, I'll have to read you the back because it just sounds freaking fabulous. 4 people walked into the dining room that night. One would never leave. Matthew, the perfect husband. Titus, the perfect son. Charlie, the perfect illusion. Rachel, the perfect stranger. Charlie didn't want Rachel at the book club. Matthew wouldn't listen. Classic crime meets Donna Tartt in this nerve-shredding domestic noir thriller that weaves a sprawling web of secrets around an opulent West London world and the dinner that ends in death. Wow, that sounds really cool to me. I'm really excited for this. I've never really read a domestic thriller, but I am again willing to give it a go because it just sounds so good. And also I'll show you one item that was in the Bookfulness box because it's so freaking cute. Look at this. It's a beautiful, really cute notepad. I really like the colours. I really like the style. Really pleased with it. It's got lines in there. I think it's absolutely cute. I am pleased about that, and the brand is Sass and Bell, I'm assuming. So that's another cute little thing in the box. Now I also have one more book that I didn't buy for myself. My parents bought it for me. They sent a parcel from Russia. It is the book that I've asked for, so I knew it was coming, but it is one of my favorite classics. I've read that book 3 times and I just wanted to have a copy, and this one is a special copy because it's an illustrated edition. So it is Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov, which is obviously in Russian. I was never going to read it in English because the original is the best. So it's really pretty, I think. It does have illustrations or old photographs as well as illustrations. There's one illustration. It is one of my favorite Russian classics. I'm excited to reread it one day again, but it's just, I'm pleased to have this in my hands. Right, I'm gonna try and read you the description from Goodreads just because it's chaotic to try and explain. One hot spring, the devil arrives in Moscow, accompanied by a retinue that includes a beautiful naked witch and an immense talking black cat with a fondness for chess and vodka. The visitors quickly wreak havoc in a city that refuses to believe in either God or Satan, but they also bring peace to 2 unhappy Moscovites. One is the Master, a writer pilloried for daring to write a novel about Christ and Pontius Pilate. I don't know how to pronounce that in English. The other is Margarita, who loves the Master so deeply that she's willing literally to go to hell for him. One of my favourite books, I think, of all time. Pleased to have this edition. The last section of this book haul is just the 4 books that I bought for myself. So we've got The Strawberry Thief by Joanne Harris. This one is, she's the author of Chocolate that I read a while ago. Really liked her writing style. Then I read another one by her. I think it was Elderberry Wine or something. I wasn't such a fan of that one. I still have another book by her, 5 Quarters of the Orange, which is somewhere up there on the shelf. But this one just sounds intriguing, and also I like the cover. So I'm intrigued. It looks to me though, I could be completely wrong, that it's like a companion novel to Chocolate, because I think it follows the same characters. Again, I could be completely wrong. I think it follows exactly the same characters as were in that book, because they still have the chocolate shop that they're running, and they're finally settled down, found their home, feeling comfortable in their lives. And one day a florist dies, leaving a parcel with confession to somebody to discover, so it changes their lives forever. Sounds really good. Like I said, I really enjoyed the atmosphere of chocolate, so hopefully this is going to be the same. I liked the writing style of this author, so I have high hopes for this one. Then I got Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. There is a reason why I've decided to get this book, because there is a Bath Festival, I think it's Book and Music Festival in Bath, obviously. So there's the event that's happening on the 17th of May, which is a walking tour in Bath. It's essentially places that the author wrote this exact book in, which sounds fascinating to me. First of all, it's just a walking tour in Bath, which I love Bath in general. It's a beautiful city, but considering there's a story behind it as well, I'm really excited for it. So that's the reason why I bought this book. But I'm sure you know what this book is about. I was, by the way, spoiled by reading this stupid introduction. I don't understand when they put introductions to the books at the beginning and they include spoilers for the book. Like, why did you do that? It makes literally no sense to do that. I'm sure everyone knows what this one is about. This is about a scientist who created a monster out of different body parts. It sounds extremely dark, but extremely interesting to me, so I'm really, really excited for this one. I'm definitely going to be reading this in May, obviously. Another book that I'm so excited for is Girl in the Walls by A.J. News. This book on its own is really, really pretty, and also if you look on the inside here, there's a girl on the cover, and also my edition is signed. There we go. I'm really, really excited for this book. I think it's a gothic novel. I am going to read you the blurb again. I'm sorry, because it sounds too intriguing not to read it. Elise knows every inch of the house. She knows which boards will creak. She knows where the gaps are in the walls. She knows which path can take her in, hide her away. It's home after all, the home her parents made for her. And home is where you stay, no matter what. Eddie calls the same house his home. He's almost a teenager now and must no longer believe in the girl he sometimes sees from the corner of his eye. He needs her to disappear, but when his older brother senses her too, they are faced with the question, how do they get rid of someone they aren't sure even exists? And if they cast her out, what other threats might they invite in? It sounds so good. I do enjoy a gothic novel, so I'm super excited for this one. I don't know when I can get to it, but I'm excited. So here we go. And again, the cover is so pretty. Really, really looking forward to it. And the very, very last book I bought it again for a reason, because Jade from J.D. Ray Reads had an interview with the author, and watching that interview just made me want to read his books, because I like his sense of humor and I liked him as a person from the interview. So it is the Spellslinger series by Sebastian de Castell. I even bought a hardcover because I was just so excited, and it's really pretty on the inside, by the way. It's one of Jade's favourite series, and I'm really excited for this one. There's also the fact that there's a cat intrigues me greatly. So as far as I'm aware, in this book we follow the main character who is supposed to be dueling with somebody, and then one day his magic just disappears, and so he comes across one of the Argosy, which is a traveller who basically lives by her wits, which whatever that means, I'm not sure. So, and she's teaching him how to do some different tricks that people don't think that he's lost his magic. Sounds intriguing, sounds really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one again whenever I can. So yeah, these are all of the books that I acquired in the month of April. I'm really pleased with all of them. I'm so excited for them. I always like getting new books. So if you've read any of these books, please let me know in the comments what you thought of them, because I'm so excited. If you like this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!